Are you carrying the weight of something someone did to you? A betrayal, a harsh word, or a broken promise? Holding on to resentment feels like protecting yourself, but in reality, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Today, I'm gonna show you why letting go of the past is the most freeing thing you can do for yourself and not for them. Have you ever had a bad day because of one small argument? You were playing in your mind, imagining what you could have said or done differently. Now imagine carrying that feeling for weeks, months, or even years. That's what holding on to resentment does. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of anger and pain. We hold on to resentment because it feels like justice. If we let go, it feels like we're saying what happened was okay. But here's the truth. Letting go isn't about them. It's all about you. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of reliving the hurt over and over again. As Nelson Mandela said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. The only person it hurts is you. Resentment doesn't just stay in the past. It seeps into every part of your life. It can make you more irritable, less trusting, and emotionally drained. Have you ever snapped at someone who had nothing to do with the original problem? That's resentment showing up where it doesn't belong. Research has shown that holding on to anger and resentment can increase stress, weaken your immune system, and even contribute to anxiety and depression. It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It wears you down, even when you don't realize it. Imagine carrying a stone on your hand everywhere you go. At first, it might not seem like a big deal, but over time, your hand begins to cramp, your arm gets sore, and it becomes unbearable. That's what resentment does. It adds unnecessary weight to your life. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened and saying it was okay. It doesn't mean you have to let the person back into your life. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the emotional grip of the past. It's choosing your peace over your pain. Here's a quote. Forgiveness is not something we do for others. We do it for ourselves to get well and move on. Think of forgiveness like cutting a rope. Imagine someone hurt you and you've been tied to them by that rope ever since. Every time you think about it, you pull on to that rope, keeping the connection alive and strong. Forgiveness is like taking scissors and cutting that rope. It's not about them. It's about your freedom. Now, here are some steps to let go of resentment. Number 1, acknowledge your feelings. Start by recognizing the pain. Don't suppress it or pretend that it doesn't exist. Write it down, talk about it, or reflect on it. Sometimes, just naming the hurt can begin to release its power over you. Number 2, shift your perspective. Ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? What is it costing me? Often, we hold on to resentment because we believe it protects us from being hurt again. But in reality, it keeps us stuck in the past. Number 3, practice empathy. This one is hard, but try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. What might they have been going through? This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps you realize their actions may not have been about you at all. Number 4, focus on the present. Every time you dwell on the hurt, bring your focus back to the present moment. What is good in your life right now? What are you grateful for? Because gratitude shifts your energy away from resentment. Number 5, take action. If it feels right, express how you feel. This could be through a text message, whether you send it or not, or a conversation. Sometimes releasing these emotions is the first step towards healing. And number 6, forgive yourself. Remember, forgiveness isn't a gift to the other person. It's a gift to yourself. When you let go, you take back control over your happiness and your well-being. Now, what is the freedom of letting go? When you let go of resentment, you make space for joy, peace, and new opportunities. You stop letting the past define your present, and you reclaim your power. I know someone who held a grudge against their sibling for years over a misunderstanding. It wasn't until they sat down and talked that they realized that the fight had been blown out of proportion. Once they let go of the resentment, the relationship flourished. Imagine what you can gain by letting go. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. The sooner you let go, the sooner you begin to heal. Now I know, letting go of resentment isn't as easy as I'm making it seem. It takes courage, self-awareness, and time. But every step you take toward releasing that pain brings you closer to your freedom. So here's my challenge for you. Think about one thing you've been holding on to, a grudge, a hurt, or a betrayal. Ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? And if the answer is no, take one small step toward letting it go. Write it down, say it out loud, or even just take a deep breath and decide to move forward. You deserve that freedom. As I leave this video, I want y'all to remember, you can't change the past, but you can free yourself from it. And when you do, you open the door to a lighter, brighter future. Let go, heal, and be free.